Okay, it's like, oh, it's only 10 after 6. I was going to say it's 6:30 in the morning. But I was like, is it? But no, it's 6:10. I got home last night, yesterday evening. I could have recorded, but I was like, oh, I was so tired. Like, oh, I think I'll just go to bed and just get up in the morning and record it. And then plus, I haven't really seen a lot of what's going on. I looked yesterday when I got home to see, but it's always hectic when I'm around all of them. So I don't really, like, my phone was still fully charged when I was, well, I did charge it for a little while because it was like on 68, so I charged it up to 98, and then when I got home, it was still 98. But anyways, so I don't know a lot about what's going on, but what I do know, I'll talk about. And but the drive over there, I swear to fucking God, it was so obvious that how much that they influence or maneuver us with traffic. And I have been saying this for such a long time because especially when I would be out here driving and I started seeing, like, they just put up these random things that we're just going to slow you down. We're going to make a lane bigger. We're going to make it shorter. We're going to reduce the driving speed. Make it go up. Make it go down. Make it go up. Make it go, just nonstop back and forth. And I just think so much of this stuff is to fuck with our heads and just exhaust us. And it's so exhausting what they just run us through, because logically we should, if cars are the thing, it should be that we just go out as responsible people and drive a speed that's responsible, but I don't know how. It's weird, like, to the point almost where, did they create irresponsible people to, are some of them MK Ultras? So they just, like I've said so many times, there's a disconnect between people's souls, because your soul tells you everything. Like, I don't know what these people think that they can tell us shit, and all these people fucking listen. Like, my soul has been telling me since I was little. Well, I can't just say my soul. My soul has been in communication with entities, beings, energies, I don't even like this, God himself stuff. I used to refer to the universe a lot as God to people because it seemed like something that they can understand, but their understanding is so much formatted around a singular entity that is in charge of everything, and they don't seem to understand this concept of this collective energy. And I see clearly the collective energies. That is the rainbow. That is the frequency. That is all of the different ones. I have this person. Oh, it's on here. This isn't the first time like this happens. And, I'm not gonna, it weirds me out how these people are. This person is obviously a Christian. I don't even know if you come on and you're a Christian and you go on and start listening to a spiritual person. Don't come on and start trying to tell us how we need to change. Oh, well, you're going in the right direction. Just, get over there to Jesus. Once you're in Jesus' pocket, you got it all solved. You've figured out life. Just get over there, Jesus. I guess right now too. And today I even said, like, you are obviously not familiar with my God. Oh, I just ran across a video and watched it. That's what gets me is, like, what gives people this inflated ego of, like, I've heard you say one thing. I don't know about these other couple thousand videos, but this thing, I'm going to come in and I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You got to do this. You got to do what I do because I'm right and you're wrong. And, you want to get with Jesus. Jesus over here. Get off whatever you're on over here and get on Jesus. It's like, come on, man. Come the fuck on. Can you not notice? Can you not notice? Like, what the holy hell? Like but we're all at different vibrations. Like seriously, this watching this religion thing play out, and I have it close to home. So, yeah, I get some down and dirty. I even with that person who I was over here, I was made friends. Like I'm not like, oh, you're a Christian, get out of here. I just, okay, well, you believe what you believe. Like, I mean, if I was going to be that way, I would have been a lonely, lonely life, because I have been like this, like I said, since I was a kid, and I had direction, and I don't understand how there is so many people that are so cut off from said direction or your guidance or whatever. Hold on. I did get a cup of tea. I have a new system too. So my powders, I can put right in the cup and stir those in each time I make a cup. But the tea, the little ball thing that has all the tea leaves and all that stuff, in that little teapot, I can put that in there, fill that with water, so that seeps. So then that water stays strong with all the root stuff, the root medicine. It's got the mullein, it has the burdock root, it has the nettles. I think I put the dandelion in the other way. That has got chamomile, lavender. It did have the chaga mushroom mixture I had made was in there, because I had added that chocolate powdery stuff in it, and it had chia seeds and some other kind of seed, and so I kept having seeds in my tea. I was like, what? And then I went and looked at that thing. I was like, oh my God, chocolate, like cacao mixed with chia seeds and fennel seeds. And it's like, oh man, I didn't even see that part. I just saw gourmet. Like, just get you with the words. Oh, it's gourmet. It's got to be good. So you got to read more. You got to go through the store, stop, read everything. How tedious is this life? Like, fuck, man. So anyways, I'm all over the place. Let's see which way are we going? Which way are we going? Okay, because over there, so on my drive, it was, tedious. But on all these drives, I have really noticed how they work the traffic. And I was like, man, they are just totally in control of our movement all the time in places and things that we don't even realize. Because I thought it back in the day, just once I started having to get around town, like get to places on schedules and stuff, it's like something's going on. It's a fucking Truman Show, motherfuckers. Hold on. And then it started becoming more and more clear as all this has been going. Blow up a train over here, cross across that bridge. Oh, just lock this road down. Oh, okay. And this all just happened by itself. So in these horrible traffic jams, I keep seeing about. And then every time you go out, you don't know. Like, I've got to go through the distance to get, like, I got to go through a metropolis to get over there. It's so much like the Barbie show. It is so, I know, I don't know how people perceive. I don't know how people look at things. But it is totally the Barbie show. It is all different realities, just like when she was leaving Barbie land and she had to get to the real world where we are, and she had to go through all these different other worlds. That's what we live in. We live in that. They put it right there, but people don't understand. So you're going through all these different realities. So I have to go through this, certain big reality that is very intense to get across over to this other reality that's ways over there. And then even once you get into that grand reality, then it still narrows down to the little ones, just like even if you're in our mind, you could still narrow it down to the synapses. And the synapses are us. We're the energy synapsing, creating all the realities. And it is like micro, macro. Every reality is its own brain, just like the brain of the universe, which has all these different realities. It all goes out like that. Like what I'm always talking about, this gradation, like it has like a nucleus and then it bleeds out. Everything bleeds out from there. But people, like, and I know I've done it too, is get real caught up in that. Oh, well, if I turned right, I could have, this whole thing could have happened. I could have met the president. I could have been his sidekick. You know, and you get in your mind these turns. If I did, I would have a whole nother life. No, that's not how this works. You are here to have the one that you are leading. And there is all these other ones happening around you. You can learn from all the ones around you, but it depends on where you are in your development. If you can hear it here, but it's kind of like if you can absorb, if you can, like I said, if you can get your place in observation, if you, it's kind of like, okay, I kind of see it like a guy, like a man in a 40s movie. I'm big on those movies. A big, like a gangster movie, you know, and he's got his step. And he's like, it's like, you get in this step, you get in this groove, and you, and because each step, because that doesn't mean each step is going to be the exact same step you just took. There could be a rock right there. Somebody could walk out of a store. He's got to make a dart right, a dart left. You know, you have every little thing, but you got to get in this groove. It is like getting in the flow of life. And so Stella's right here. And she came in, she got right here because he came over and was playing and got right here. And she's like, she's not having that one bit. There will be none of that. So anyways, if you get what I'm saying on that, because I'm still going back on this traffic thing, because there's a story there. I got to tell them a story. And I'm always going on this long, we're going on the long scenic route when you're talking to me. Like, and when people come in and start talking about, oh, well, you know, you're kind of, you don't really know what, I was like, maybe you might want to watch some other videos. Maybe you want to kind of get to know the person before you start judging them. That's crazy. What would you do that for? I don't know. It's like so weird. Hold on. So anyways, it was clear to me about the traffic thing, and it became clear to me too when I was, I think it was last year, and I was doing these ones, and they were stopping us, and it was all these, we were just stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and these traffic lines where there's no gas, like I just said, it's like no gas stations or anything, and you're just out, like, and us, we're out in the mountains. So we're kind of trapped in that part. Like, where are you going to go? You got one road going and one road going. And you're stuck, and you've got all these people who are on vacation with trailers and boats, campers, all this stuff. And you think about like huge RVs and stuff, and, you know, how much they're driving, and, you know, I just remember making reference of, you got to sit here a long time. I think that, you know, they want us to run out of gas and stuff. Add that frustration. And so this morning I've seen a whole bunch of videos, but it's the same lady. So she's been documenting this. So it's from headed out from Southern California to Vegas. I can't remember the road that she said it is that they've blocked, that they've closed them all in on. The 10 or the 84, that I could be thinking of the roads I just drove on. So, anyways, it's a number road. So all these people were driving. I have seen some other videos because I saw one guy, I've been sitting here for 6 hours, and something about he's 2 hours from home and he's been sitting in this place 6 hours. It's so frustrating. I can't believe it. But the thing is with that line that they kept the people sitting so long that all these people started running out of gas. All these Teslas and shit all ran out of charge. So the freeway is now all these broken down cars out in the desert. It's 108 degrees. The one woman, she said she just rolled into the gas station, which is one gas station has this long ass lines now that is like hours long in the gas station line. So you got to wait hours. You just got to turn your cars off on this stuff too. And so she rolled in on 0 gallons of gas. She had no gas left in her car. And then as soon as she came in, the gas station ran out. So the gas station that's out there has run out of gas. All these people, truckers, all these people, she said it's like 30 miles of stop traffic going back. And it looks like 2 lanes. And I think it's on both sides, because the one guy, he was trying to leave Vegas and he was stuck. And then the other guy, the lady, she was leaving California, going that way. I think she was headed towards Vegas. So that Vegas to Southern California, there is a lot of people who do that all the time on the weekends. They head over to Vegas for the weekend. And I'm sure there's tons of people who leave from Nevada and head over to go to the ocean for the weekend or whatever. Like it's kind of like me driving to Seattle or something. I think it's more like 4 hours or something. But anyways, it's way out in the desert. And if you haven't ever driven out in the desert, it's as tedious as driving around here at the mountains. It's just different. And being stuck out there in the desert in the heat like that. And the one woman said, all these people didn't go to the bathroom. People haven't eaten. People are running out of gas. People don't have supplies. Like, you can't be traveling and not have supplies right now because of this kind of stuff. This is the kind of shenanigans they like to do, is block us off in places and leave us stranded. I'm not really sure. It is just to keep us kind of beat down, so we just are like desperate. And it's so weird going and traveling and going to other people's realities. It is so weird how everybody is in their own reality on this stuff that's going on. That's why I could see what that person was talking about with the windows. It's like you're looking in windows, but you go in and you go into their vibration. Like, you could sit there all day long, drive yourself crazy, trying to explain things to them. People can't hear you. And it's so wild to me too, well, this has been my whole life, and this is going to sound super, I feel like every time I think of this, I feel like, God, you stuck up. What's wrong with you? So it may come across like this ego thing, but it's something I'm obviously working on, because I'm trying to work on myself. So, and if that is what I'm trying to see or something, then I got to look at it. I got to see it for myself. Hold on, let me get a drink. Because, like I've said, since I was a kid, these beings, how I always took it, I never took it as it was a part of me. I took it, at 3 years old and having a religious mom, I took it as the devil and the angel on my shoulder, and I was about to do something naughty. And I just thought, this is how it is here. This is just how it is. You're going to go do something. Because, I was young. I didn't, no, I just thought, when you're going to go do something, then you have the devil and the angel come to try and, one's trying to tempt you and one's trying to talk sense to you. And so I just thought that was normal. I didn't think anything of it. And I was talking back to them, and I was using telepathy because I was talking to them the same way they were talking to me. So I started doing telepathy long time ago, because I was 3 when all this happened. And I just feel every time I do that, they always pull me back to this time when I was in my crib. I think that was the time when I ate the baby aspirin. So I'm sure they made contact in that, and I still did the same thing. I still ate the baby aspirin. And this one, when they told me not to put the soap in my brother's water, I still did it. Because the dark energy, the one that I thought was the devil, and it's so weird how it even sounded and stuff. Like, it is like this wah, 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 and then the other is like this sweet, just, like the, what is that witch off the Wizard of Oz. It's like that the one in the white dress and the gold crown. What was her name? Zelda or something? How she was so, oh, just like that is like how these voices are. These are just very, they're not so, oh. This one was like, it's weird because when you do think of it like that, it does have kind of a feel of an attachment in you, and this darkness, and in whatever reason, which could totally be past life stuff, is I gave him soapy water. It didn't affect him so much, because he can't remember. He was a year old. And so I remember it. Like, this is such a profound time. I've never forgotten it. My whole life, I've never forgotten this. And I could ask my mom. Like, I knew I was little because I can see myself. But, and I knew my brother was little, and I knew he had to be little enough that he couldn't go get his own water. So I could put 2 and 2 together. But also I could ask my mom, and she could tell me, because we didn't go over to my grandpa's. I mean, this whole situation where I gave him the soapy water, that, that was easy to remember because I didn't ever do it again. It was a one-time deal. But so I've had them talking to me, and but I grew up with it thinking that they talk to everybody, and so or everybody has their own people who talk to them or something. So I didn't think anything was weird about it. And when I would try and talk to people about things and their reactions, I kept thinking, what is wrong with them? Like, what? This is so weird. There was a part where it was just like, everything was weird. Like, I couldn't understand people, especially when I talked about supernatural things and how people would react to me. And even some of the stuff I was just saying at my one daughter's house, she was like, you really got to stop spending so much time alone. Oh yeah, I was going to say that about that friend who had made out here, because she was religious. But then talking to her, like, I said some of this stuff that was so weird. I was like, this militia mindset, like, it's weird stuff. So, yeah, I don't jive with them. Especially during this, like, it was one thing when we all just were living our lives, but then when it started coming down to people talking about how they felt about things, and it's like, what? God damn. So, it's this continuation of, like, this awakening to, like, what? But, because I had these people who I've been talking to my whole life, and they've told me things, like, you build a trust with them. They tell you things throughout your life. And then obviously the things play out. And so you see things, and then you have issues and stuff, and you talk to them. And it's not like they're going to tell you how to get out of every problem, but there's a communication. You get these, like, aha moments of being able to understand things on a different level. And so that's why I'm always like, you got to spend time in reflection and talking, because there's a talking through things, and you get all of this expansion in your understanding when you do it. So, and I lived like that, and they were telling me things all the time. And so, like I said, there's a trust that's built up. Hold on. And so then when all this, because it started more for me back in 2016, because I had already had to go through, started my healing. I already had to choose me after the brain injury. And it was a rough road. It was rough. There was a lot that, anybody who's lost everything, had the rug pulled out from under them. And then plus, I was working with a disabled situation. My mind wasn't firing on all cylinders. I was really struggling. It was really hard. And so anyways, I going through that, then it was in 2016 or whatever. It was after the Dark Knight, and I had to really be pushed into that by, but it's how it was always going to happen. That's the thing. It's like everything that happens through everything that happens is always going to happen. So we keep trying to think like we have control if we're over here, but no, it's all playing out. The thing is, get comfortable with how it plays out, because that has meaning, it has purpose, it has relevance in your life, your existence, for you to be able to expand from that. It's like to grow from it. And when I was talking to my daughter too, we were talking about, like some different people and stuff, and how people can just stay stuck their whole lives and not grow. And she found that to be really sad too. It is sad when people get stuck and don't grow. So, but they're all around us. So you can ignore all the things that are there to help you grow. You can always turn it into poor me, I'm a victim, I try so hard. Even though most of the people who are trying so hard, they're trying hard to make things be what they want them to be, instead of participating in what is. What is becoming where you become that I am, and you are in that space. You are in that time where you can accept things, where you can just relax and go with the flow. So that is where I say, like, you're trying to get onto that, in this timeline theory, and you're on the timeline of victim, poor me, the world's out to get me. But then when you get into the groove of life and you realize, and then you start getting into it, then you get on this other timeline, this more positive timeline, because you have the negative and the positive. And I know all these people are always like jumping timelines, which there was a weird thing that happened on this. These people are always jumping timelines. And I'm always like, what is different? My fucking playlist on my thing that I've listened to for years and years that I made myself is all of a sudden changed and added in all these other songs. So I don't know if I somehow pushed a button on it and all of a sudden it just added in all these songs I've never even fucking heard of, or what the hell's going on. Or there's some alternate Kelly, this is her playlist, but it's like, well, we had different taste in music, I think. Like, I don't know. So anyways, it's weird. Hold on a sec. But to me, the timeline thing is definitely the negative timeline or the positive timeline. All this little jumping around all the time, I don't see that. I see destiny. I see the free will is deciding what game you're playing. Are you playing it from being the victim, or are you playing it from being the victor? And which, to me, this whole thing with the Olympics is really got this gladiator thing going. Like, I always have thought sports was like that. It was like, how far have we come? Like, this is just weird. And now, with everything coming out, how it's all fake and it's all, it's all set. It's just like watching a ballet that tours, it's all set, the whole thing. But there's so much laundry that goes on with that they keep it going because, and it's such a distraction, especially for the male population. Like, you get them to fight over their teams and stuff like that, over ludicrous bullshit. And then, but there's big stuff going on in the world. But that has been something to watch. All these men, because there's still a lot who aren't. But then how the ones talk who do start seeing through it and how they've been tricked. But there's still ones that are just so locked in. But that's the thing that always gets me, where I say, like, I don't want to be like arrogant or something, but I feel confident in the stuff that I say, of my inner knowing and my inner communication. And when somebody starts telling me, I'm wrong, I'm always like, where does your information come from? Are you just saying it just to be argumentative? Are you saying it because you really have this inner vision and you can see where we're headed? Are you just saying it because you can't imagine the world not being a certain way? Like, where does it come from? And there's so much of that. There's so much like when I say something to somebody about like what's going to go on and stuff, it's like this is what's happening. I mean, like, this is what's happening. And, and I don't know how to explain it. It's like in my inner knowing, it's in my vision, it's in my sight, it's like, it's everything. And, to the point where it's like, it feels like it's just a part of me. And then you say, like, oh, well, this is going to happen. And like, everything's going to collapse. We're going to change everything. We're going to do everything different. Nothing's going to be the same. And all the things that this is going to be a hard part for people to understand is all of the things that you have been getting. You've been supporting the people who have been killing you. And so all of those people are going down. Everything they owned is going down. We're not going to keep having things the same. There's going to be drastic changes. And I can see the stuff, that is going to be different. And just this whole thing of people argue about that. Like they hold on so much to this other world. Like they can't imagine a world that's not this way. And I don't know. It weirds me out because of those things. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be arrogant or whatever. Like, well, I know. But there's, I mean, I don't, nobody has to go and just believe me or whatever. But like I said, when I hear other people say things, it's like, and then I started thinking, okay, well, maybe in their life, that's how it's going to go. Their life's going to go this other direction. I don't know. Like, I don't understand it. Because to me, it seems like everybody should be able to start seeing this more clearly. I just saw a girl live, and she's a spiritual, like she has a big following, and she, I don't know all her content or whatever. I see her live sometimes. And so sometimes I'll hear her for a second what she's saying. And so I've heard her say all sorts of things, like all these spiritual people, I've heard them say all sorts of things. But, so in this one, which was weird anyways, because she had a filter on her eyeballs. Her eyeballs were this weird color blue. Like, I don't understand this stuff. Like, what? I didn't want to be judgmental. I just don't understand it. So, she was saying, it is the end. This is the end. But it's like, it's not the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it. But it's the end. But I feel like that's for sure coming. But it's not the end of the world. I've been saying this and saying this and saying this for a long fucking time. And even if you want to say the end of time, the end of times, the times that we were living in, it's the ending of those times. These are cycles. So it's the end of that time period. That period of time is completed. And so this is the wrap up. It's all ending and it's going out dramatically, just like so many of us leave the game dramatically. And this is your ability to maneuver endings and beginnings. And, and I don't know if I know everybody's not here for that part. Everybody's here for this cleanup, this clean up on aisle 9 with your soul. Like you've got these things, the wrapping up the age of all of these different adventures that you've gone on and the outcomes, because that is your balance. So there is a lot of people who are here to just complete cycles, to wrap up their content, to try and get as much completed, because it is these games, but that is like it's like you carry your score with you. And because this karmic balance, this attachment you have to all these people, and then you see what people do. They get too frustrated. They can't handle it. even with their parents and stuff. And I say it's really important. Man, it was so smoky over there. You couldn't even be outside. We went and sat outside a few times because then her fella keeps the air conditioner on so cold. And I am like such a wuss. I'm just not an air conditioner person. And so I would go outside and sit some because, I don't know, I sit outside a lot. I don't even know what the weather's going to be like over here, but there it was so smoky from the fires. And Oregon's got so many bad fires, but I don't know. It goes on the wind of how it goes. Like, they've got fires in Washington State that are blowing into there, and it's a valley surrounded by all these big mountains and stuff. So it holds it in there. And that's the same with Spokane. And I just think, man, isn't that convenient where they chose to build cities and stuff? And, you know, it works out good because that's what I noticed here where I live. When I would drive out before, when all this stuff started first happening, and I would drive out and I said, there's an atmosphere over where we are. There's like different atmospheres. And I was like, that is, it's like Petri dishes. Like, well, let's do a little of that, dump a little of this, dump a little of that, and see what happens. So I was like, they are using that to their, because you can isolate certain things that you give people. And you got to keep remembering, we are all in different realities. And one thing too is, at my daughter, there was a couple of things that she said, like, there is some stuff that mom has said that is now coming true. So it is weird. And I was like, well, just wait, it's all going to become true. And but then it's always like, oh, you need to spend more time with people. You're spending too much time alone. I'm not going crazy. This is real. But I went outside one of the mornings to walk the dogs, and it was still, sunrise was just happening in this most red, and it went down a few times. It was so red. Even when it was way up, it's bright red sun. And that's got to be all the chemicals and stuff. And so it came up and I got footage of that, but right above me was the moon. So I got footage of that too. But then when I went in and I told my daughter, I said, the moon's out there. You know, however I said, the moon's out there. So I wonder what China's doing. She goes, I don't know. The moon's out there all the time. I think that there's different suns and moons. I was like, yeah, me too. But there's like this combination thing, like the Truman Show, but it also is all these different realities and all this control over all these different realities. And it's like a symphony, like these people who are, you know, running us. It's like a symphony, and they keep adding in more, like adding the horns, the strings, like everything that they're orchestrating is so huge. And it's like all of our lives, but, you know, we're all realizing it. We're all waking up and saying, no more, no more, no. You've had all my time that you have. That was the end of their time influence over us, because time isn't even real. Just like what I said, where they try and get people to register themselves in years. Why? What does that have to do with anything? Register yourself in years on cycles of another thing. Like, it's doing its cycles, and we're supposed to register ourselves on that. That makes no sense. But it's all a part of this condensing us onto time. You have this much time. You have this much time clocks, like all that. When that stuff breaks apart, it is like the only time you need to worry about is like daytime and nighttime. And that depends on what you're doing. But all this other stuff of breaking it down. But all these things, see, have to break apart and break free. And all the people have to break free from all these concepts. And so we have all these people here who are here to learn and grow. Everybody's here for this big event happening, but that doesn't mean everybody's here for the beginning part. Some people are just here for the wrap up. So, but there is a lot of people who are here for the beginning, because we have all different realities that are going to be created. And so there's all sorts of people who are motivated to create these realities. And that is, that's the beginning. Like, oh, my daughter was telling me that she really, well, this is one conversation, and I have to be real. I can't not be honest. So when you're talking to people, though, and they're in a different reality, that they don't see anything going on, like literally have no idea there's earthquakes happening, nothing. And they just think it's like, well, this is climate change or whatever. Because they told people that. So they just are, busy trying to survive in this world. And they aren't paying attention to all that stuff. So you talk about it and they think you're a real wackadoo. And so she was saying her dream is to go get one of those is when you go to the Oregon coast, there is all these like old-fashioned hotels, like the kind motels that you just pull up and you go in the room, and so there's a whole bunch of people who got them and started redoing them. So they're not corporate owned, they're family owned or, individual owned. And so they've been redoing all these little motels, and they're super, super cute. And she said that she wants to be on the Oregon coast, and that she wants to, and they're waiting for the kids to graduate. There's so many holes in the things, because I'm like, I said a few different things about a school thing. So you're waiting for the government indoctrination camp facilities to close down. And because their next child is being homeschooled. It's like you can take these ones out of the system, but they feel like all the kids are so indoctrinated that it's like you can't talk to them. We don't know what to do. Well, like they're just like, and because they've been programmed. This is what this place is about, programming. And so they've got advanced programmers deciding what the curriculum is. So they program the people. And that's why you got to pull them free. You got to go through. And then but people can't see what I'm seeing. They can't see the future. They can't see the future without all this stuff. So, but that is a part of their journey, a part of their breaking free from it all, is you see what you're supposed to see. And so I had said, well, the Oregon coast isn't going to be there anymore. The map's changing. There's all these earthquakes. There's all this stuff going on. And she's like, oh, okay, maybe, 100 years from now or something. I'm like, no, it's in the process. It's changing right now. They've even put a map out. I said, I would be looking at that map and figuring out where you want to do this at. And, but stay on your dreams. And, but see, that's the thing, is like coming up with your dreams, what it is you want. And then see, because either doors open or close. If it's just something that you want, but that's not what you're here for, then the doors will close. And other ones will open, and you could be too deliberate in, well, I want this, I don't want that. And then you're not going with the flow that is there for you. So you're fighting against the universe to try and force what it is that you want. So that's, each person has to figure that out for themselves. Because like, I thought I was perfectly reasonable, trying to pay my house off. And I'm going to get a house down. I wanted to be what they called, call them something bird or something. But there's people who live in the north at certain times of year and south at certain times of year. And so I wanted to be one of those people. And so that was my plan. I was going to work. I wanted to pay off that stuff so I could retire early and just travel and do stuff. And then, then I got a brain injury and my whole life fell apart. And you do go through a part of like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why? It was way more, I think, where I learned way more about destiny in a sense, in the things that have happened since this awakening, because I had some other things too where it did seem like you have more control of things. There is a huge aspect of feeling like, God's out to get you sometimes. But that is where you got to change and get more into this format of this game. And so you can be a more efficient player. And so you can't be fighting against the current. You think about current as the electric current or the current situation, like all those things is an explanation, kind of exploratory of the same type of concept. But you go and get into the flow of life in your current situation and see how you're not trying to change the current, because you can do it like with the electric or with water current. Like you're trying to build a dam when your life is taking in one direction and you're trying to, hold on to everything, grab everything. You want it to go in a different direction. You're fighting against the current of your life. And so you need to get more into harmony with your life to go with the flow and not try and fight the flow. So that is a huge lesson I think so many people are learning. But through my thing, which, because it came in segments, like on the awakening to me. And in the one segment where I got triggered by this person, and the trigger is like I saw this person and they were talking, but all of a sudden they were talking right to me. It was the weirdest thing. And so it was like soul recognition. It was like this soul recognition happened. And then they started coming into, like their soul started coming into my energy. It would come into my dreams. It would come and be around me. Their names started popping up everywhere. This number, it was like the weirdest thing. I was so confused. But in that process, that is where my guides have used that, where I've learned so much more about destiny, about timing, and about how it all works, and how things like I said, it's like you're just click, 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 click. You're always where you're supposed to be. And everything is always clicking. Like everything is in this perfect orbit. Just like think about when you first learned about space, the orbit of how things go, even though we are the thing that things are orbiting around. But that perfect, like everything is exactly, exactly this distance. If it was 1 inch further, it was all these things, because everything is so perfectly aligned in your life for your experience. And I think a lot of people get to their life review and they are upset because of how much of their experience they bypassed because they were so distracted thinking that they had another plan for themselves. And it's so much more purposeful to be present in your, like, be in your time, be in this moment in time, this being right here. And like I said, it's so easy to stay in the past or to venture into the future, but it is not in a, it isn't for a functional kind of way. It is stay in the past so you can replay the pain and suffering, so you can continue to beat yourself down or to hate on somebody else. So you have a continuation where you're not present in this moment if you keep replaying this other moment. And then when you see the toxic behavior of this replay, and you keep yourself trapped back here, see, you're not getting you're not participating in your life all up here. So that is for you, have got to catch on to that. And then and when you keep going to the future, that is, people go straight up into their fears, what they're scared is going to happen. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that. I'm scared of this. And when I talk about things, there's nothing scary about it. It's being more prepared, being more aware. Like, there's nothing scary about what's happening. Yeah, it can seem real fucking scary, you know, with all these storms and shit, and like, you know, just driving, and it was like, fuck, that fucking, anything can happen. Like, I'm going through these mountains, you know, and knowing that they block people off and stuff and make you run out of gas, and then, they can knock the fucking side of a mountain down and, you know, knock all cars with it. They can, whatever, all the different shenanigans that can happen. The volcano could go off. Anything can happen. So while I was driving, oh yeah, and yesterday morning I had seen a video, and this lady was a channeler, and I don't know when she started. Like, for me, it was when I was really little. So I don't know, a lot of people are waking up and starting to get like, oh, this is my guidance. That's who's talking to me. Oh, and then also people who can hear into other realms. That's where you really got to work through the dark energy, because they'll just trick you. Oh, you're here to talk now. Let's talk. That they'll trick you. And there's a lot of entities or energies and stuff out there that will play, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're trying to trick you, but they are just playing. So they are just, it's like a game. I don't know what's playing. But so the let me think, the energies, negative. Oh yeah, because so I saw this video yesterday morning, and she said that her guides told her that this is about to go down. It's going to go down today, and this was yesterday. It's going to go down today. If anybody is going to travel, you need to not be traveling. You need to not be going. The universe is about to change energies and reveal truths to everyone, and they're going to I'm pretty sure she said see themselves or something. That's what I keep saying. That's the big thing. That's what's going to be the thing that's going to be hard on people, because they're going to see themselves, but in a way that they haven't seen themselves before. But she was saying her guides were telling her this timeline, this time thing is speeding up. Well, nothing can speed up or slow down unless it was always meant to. So that's where I'm like, we don't have that same, we don't have that control. That is in the idea of like, well, I could get up today and change things if I go this way. It's like, you can't go that way. You're only going to go this way. It's like, it's impossible. And so... So that's why, like, some of the things I'll hear people say, I'll just be like, but anyway, so she was saying the same thing as this other spiritual lady was saying, like, this shit is about to go down. And, but I was like, man, I want to be home, fuck. And she was like, we're not going to have power, all this stuff. And I was like, fuck, I want to be in my own home when this shit goes down. Of like, you know, not having power or whatever. And so then my one daughter, she couldn't come over when she got off work, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and go. And Stella was being so whiny because she didn't have her bed there, and so she had to keep sleeping on the floor. I bring her like her little travel bed thing, but doesn't have her orthopedic bed is thick. And so anyways, when you have hip things and stuff, I'm sure she was super uncomfortable sleeping on the floor a couple days. So even though she's on the floor right now, but she goes back and forth. And so whatever, with all this stuff, with all this stuff I was saying, I'm just going to skip, because I'm sure I've said this stuff enough times that you get what I'm saying. But the other thing too, so this Paris shenanigan, fucking gladiator bullshit. And, but, you know, it's all eyes on there. So there's all sorts of things, like the fourth horseman, the pale horseman, or whatever, that whole thing. It's like they are doing this shit on purpose, you guys. Like, how more obvious can it be? I think my phone is about to pop out or something. Hold on. And since I did get the other case, I got a new case. And I was like, I'm just not going to be taking it off all the time. So I'm trying to do it, but it doesn't stay in this thing good. The little holder that holds the phone, so I don't have to. So I don't know. And it blows like we're on a ship. We're tipping over. I'm tipping the whole time. It's not just that you can't hear me. I'm all, oh. Let's see if I can get it up here.